I think that it's not just, I think that we often spend a lot of time thinking about assessment in classrooms, and we think in terms of, what is the learner able to do in terms of, and let's talk about math because that's what I teach, of what was presented in the math concept study or whatever other thought exercises studio. We think about what did they do in that time in terms of the math content. But what I'm starting to recognize, or what I've come to recognize, is that it's not necessarily what they were able to do in terms of the mathematics, but it's what steps, what behaviors, what ways of thinking that they are actually presenting in those moments. So even a learner who had a misconception of an idea, but the fact that they were willing to share that idea at the time, and the fact that they were then able to listen to someone else who was rendering them a more accurate version of that idea, and then the fact that they were able to then recount what that person told them. So to me, the learning that I'm spending time on now isn't simply the content, but it is what kinds of behaviors show that this learner is actually enhancing their abilities to learn. And as we were talking before about what the long view is, that is the long view. I know that, I believe that children are always learning. They're going to learn with or without us. But what can we do to enhance their abilities where they're continuing to learn all the time, but at the highest level possible? They're optimizing the skills that they have. And as they optimize the skills that they have, of course, those skills continue to grow. And so I'm looking at what is it that they're doing? Because when I'm not there, I want them to be able to have the ability to ask the questions they need to ask, to listen critically to what someone else is rendering, to be able to then step back and take the risk to try something based on whatever interpretation they've made because of their critical listening. And then be willing to have that evaluated. And if need be, in front of several people, and be okay with that. So what feels like a good day to me is that all learners are participating in that way. And it's very obvious that they're grappling and they're trying to learn, and they're exercising these skills for the sole purpose of being able to learn this concept well, but at the same time ensuring that other people around them are also.